Greetings. This is White Raptor News Ministries coming into the lunchtime hour. I hope everybody's having a pleasant day. We're here at Deuteronomy 17. Do not sacrifice to the Lord your God an ox or a sheep that has any defects or flaws in it, for that would be detestable to him. Hold on. The precious blood of Jesus Christ. That looks like a bloody mess to me. Well, hold on, man. What did I just read? Okay. Do not sacrifice to the Lord your God an ox or a sheep that has any defect or flaw in it, for that would be detestable to him. I don't know. That looks like a stabbed and beaten and bruised and bloodied up sacrifice to me. Looks like it's shot out. Looks like he's tore up. You know what else it looks like? It looks like a whittled piece of wood. Is that why they call people in jail, white boys in jail, woods? Because you're about as smart as a white boy in jail. And you know what? The truth is some of the most intelligent people on the face of the earth are in jail. That's what put them there. Their own smarts put them there. I mean, think about that. Doesn't matter how smart you are. So, these are bloody images of... Oh, Jesus, you got beat up. Come on, guys. That looks like a bloody sacrifice to me. It looks like that's been beaten. That's some shredded up shit right there, man. Yeah. But it would be detestable to give anything with a flaw in it. So tell me, does that look like it's a flaw? Does that look like it's been flawed and beaten and flogged and shot out and tore down? Jesus Christ on a cross? Huh? You guys are silly, man. That you can't see any of this as the evil that it really is. I mean, folks, it's so mind-boggling to me that Christians can't see the truth. It blows me away. Okay, if a man or a woman living among you in one of the towns the Lord gives you is found doing evil in the eyes of the Lord your God in violation of his covenant, and contrary to my commands has worshipped other gods, bowing down to them or to the sun or the moon or the stars in the sky. Well, you know, this is an odd one too. Let's finish out the reading. And this has been brought to your attention. Then you must investigate it thoroughly. Okay, so if somebody's caught worshiping the moon, the stars, the sun, the sky, or any of that, it's all creation. And there's a price for worshiping creation. It's called the loss of your soul, being captured and left in this plane of existence. If it is true and it has been proved that this detestable thing has been done in Israel, take the man or woman who has done this evil deed to your city gate and stone that person to death. On the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses, a person is to be put to death, but no one is to be put to death on the testimony of only 1 witness. The hands of the witnesses must be the first in putting that person to death, and then the hands of all the people. You must purge the evil from among you. So, folks, stoning someone to death for worshiping idols. You know what's really odd about this is when Rebecca had left her father's tutelage, she stole his idols. Now that makes no sense. These are supposed to be people of God, and they're stealing idols. So that's always questionable. So you can't put someone to death on the word of 1 witness. And thank goodness for that, man, because if that was the case, people would be getting slaughtered. Always. All right? In cases come before your courts that are too difficult for you to judge, whether bloodshed, lawsuits, or assaults, take them to the place the Lord your God will choose. Go to the Levitical priest and to the judge who is in office at that time. Inquire of them, and they will give you the verdict. You must act according to the decisions they give you at the place the Lord will choose. Be careful to do everything they instruct you to do. Act according to whatever they teach you and the decisions they give you. Do not turn aside from what they tell you, to the right or to the left, or you'll get popped in your mouth. Anyone who shows contempt for the judges or for the priests who stand ministering there to the Lord your God is to be put to death. You must purge the evil from Israel. All the people will hear and be afraid and will not be contemptuous again. So, folks, the Lord your God is put priests and ministers over you. But at the same time, the Bible is telling us that you're not to place any mediators between you and the Spirit of God. So could there be some kind of misdirection that's taking place? It says that if I'm to talk about the priests in a negative manner, that I am to be put to death. My point here is that somewhere in the beginning of the creation story, God said that he will not contend with mankind, for your days will be 120. So is that telling us at one point in time, did God, the Supreme, leave the children of Israel? Wasn't the circumstances between good and evil written up that evil said that he could turn you, Israel, God's chosen children, to the dark side? So if your God, Yahweh, is giving you commands not to kill and not to shed blood, because if you shed blood, then by man's hands, your own blood will be shed. And then he turns around and he tells you to invade in countrysides and destroy people. That's an oxymoron. That's saying one thing and doing another. So this God Yahweh is giving commands for you to act in a manner of one way, and then turns right around and okays it to slaughter children, wives, and husbands. Just pointing it out, since I've been reading all this Bible, no one can say to me, White Raptor News, you got to read the whole Bible. Because I'm reading the whole Bible, I'm reading it for you, and I'm clearly seeing some unsettling parables that are taking place about the God Yahweh. Now, mind you, that there are 613 laws of Yahweh, okay? And then Jesus comes along in the New Testament, and you have 1,050 laws of Jesus, and then you have mankind's laws that are so many on the books, not one person could maintain all these laws. Not a person could remember these laws, but a machine could. 600 million laws throughout the United States are written on the books. Okay? How do you keep track of something like that? I say burn all of the laws. Let's start over. Let's start over and keep it tight. Let's keep it tight with murderers. Let's keep it tight with rapists. Let's keep it tight with extortionists that rob at large numbers. Let's keep it tight with people that sell secrets and stuff. Let's keep it tight with corrupted law enforcement officers. Let's make a law of some type that when you're caught in a lie, that there's some kind of payment for that shit, for lying. Rather than a little slap on the hand, a little slap on the wrist, going about here it is, you've been cheating on your husband, he's off at war, he's fighting to defend your country, you're sleeping around on him and stuff, he finds out, and then you are the ones that try putting the hooks inside of your husband and taking everything from him, knowing downright that you did some dirty fucking shit while your husband was off in another country, defending you and your children. Oh my goodness. This stuff, it just eats at me today. The king, when you enter the land the Lord your God is giving you and have taken possession of it and settle in it, and you say, let us set a king over us like all the nations around us. And see, this was part of the problem. Be sure to appoint over you kings. Be sure to appoint over you a king the Lord your God chooses. Well, that was the whole deal, is supposedly, I don't believe this, but Israel was asking for a God. They wanted a king. It's right there. I'm not saying it. They're saying it right here. Let us set a king over us like all the nations around us. So you, the Jews, were requiring a king within yourself. And then supposedly, as the story says, a king was sent for the Jews, and then you guys slaughtered and murdered them. I don't believe that the upright children of God slaughtered Jesus. I believe those in the providence of Israel that have hijacked this reality construct have stolen the identity of God's chosen children. And that's where the problem stems, is it's those that were in the providence of Jerusalem today, if Jesus was a historical figure that lived and walked the face of the earth, that slaughtered that man. Okay, because the true Jews, the walk upright in a righteous life, understand that Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Jesus of Nazareth, was only a man who was sent to a particular people. He must be from among your fellow Israelites. Do not place a foreigner over you, one who is not an Israelite. The king, moreover, must not acquire great numbers of horses for himself, or to make the people return to Egypt to get more of them, for the Lord has told you, you are not to go back that way again. Well, so then, are there Israelites today in Egypt? Did some of God's chosen children flee back to that providence of Israel? And do not place a foreigner over you. Well, that's the problem, folks. You've been doing that since the very beginning. When Satan came into the garden, the serpent, the man, a gorgeous man, came into the garden and offered Eve that fruit, that man is the one that conned you, and then you fell into darkness. And because you followed the words of this serpent, this man, this serpent race, because the ancient ancestors, folks, are the serpent race, okay? Somewhere along the line, the Supreme Spirit was capable or allowed something to materialize a world. This is what the beginning means. In the beginning means the beginning of the materialized world. Doesn't mean anything else. In the beginning means the beginning of the fall. In the beginning means after the war. Because before there was a beginning, there had to have been a before the beginning. And that's what we try to focus on, is what took place before the beginning. Does anybody give you any answers to before the beginning? Do ministers of Christianity just read you a publication, read you a parable, and then they just walk right over it and they don't tell you one thing exactly what the parable's saying, if there's a hidden meaning to that parable that's being said? The king, moreover, must not acquire great numbers of horses for himself, or make the people return to Egypt to get more of them, for the Lord has told you, you are not to go back that way. He must not take many wives, or his heart will be led astray. He must not accumulate large amounts of silver or gold. So here you're being told, Israel, that you're not to have many wives. But yet Solomon, as we're going to get later on in the book, had 900 concubines, or 700 concubines, 300 wives. Okay? He was a lustful man. And by the way, Solomon, the wisest man of all, simply means soul of man. Solomon, soul of man, soul of man. You're not to accumulate large amounts of silver and gold, because they're detestable to the Lord. The things of this world, it's telling you plainly, those that are in the world are at enmity with God. So you can't love precious metals and diamonds and jewelry and all your Gucci bags and your high-end clothing and your Reeboks and your all these brand names. It means nothing, folks. All you need is clothing, food in your stomach, and a roof over your head, and you're blessed. And that's the way it should be for everybody on the face of this earth. But you can't have a rich folk unless the rich folk are stomping all over the poor folk. And that's the way it works. 18. When he takes the throne of his kingdom, he is to write for himself on a scroll a copy of this law, take from that of the Levitical priest, It is to be with him, and he is to read it all the days of his life, so that he may learn to revere the Lord his God and follow carefully all the words of the laws and his decrees. So check this out. So I'm here in this channel here, and the response I said was Jesus was not sinless. Anybody that believes that is living the lie. I didn't finish it out. And he asked, he says, I wonder, what's your definition of sin? So I replied, my definition of sin is transgressions against the law. And then he said, why would a man of such intelligence describe sin in such a nonsensical way? So he's telling me that I have intelligence, and at the same time I'm nonsensical. That's the same way that Paul used to speak. Now, I've written several comments to this, but they've blocked most of the comments, especially when I turn around and I say Jesus is 666. I even ask, even if you're not blocking my comments, you have to ask yourself why, because the internet pushes lies and you are part of the lie. So this is the way that YouTube tries to get up underneath of my skin and stuff. They don't allow me to reply to these comments and stuff, because the minute I show something that Jesus is 666, it all comes together. Well, what do I mean? Hold on, let me show you. Okay, this is the reasons why my information gets blocked, folks, because I put the puzzle pieces together, because this Bible is a puzzle piece, okay? And Jesus here is coming, it's telling us. Behold, I'm coming soon, Jesus, and my reward is with me, to give each one according to what he's done. That is a judgment. Jesus is telling you he's coming to give each one according to what he's done. I am the Alpha, which is the Aleph. It is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and then the Omega. The Omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet in its finality. But the question to ask yourself is, why are they mixing Hebrew and Greek together? Because those in the province of Israel today are not speaking the true 100% dialect of the Hebrew language. Okay, I am the first, Jesus says. This is the first born. I am the first born, and I am the last supper. I am the beginning. Jesus says, I am the beginning, and I am the end. The beginning is Genesis 1:1. The end is Revelations, the last book of Revelations. I am the beginning and the end. The beginning, Genesis, once again, the end, Revelations, chapter 22:21, the end. So Jesus is telling you straight up that he's the beginning, and this is what the slave masters don't want you to hear, that what is time made up of? It's made up of 60 seconds, 60 minutes, and 24 hours in a day. 2 + 4 is 6. That is 666. Jesus is the beginning. Not only is he the beginning there, he's also John chapter 1 verse 1 Bible Hub. He's also the beginning here. In the beginning was the Word, Jesus. Jesus is an epithet to the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. When you add the sum of the Word, it comes to 60. 6 + 0 is 6. And the Word said 3 times, 1, 2, 3 is 666. Jesus is telling you that he's the beginning right here, man. Not me. I didn't write the Bible. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 Bible Hub. So in the beginning, this is Jesus. Give me a break. In the beginning, this is time. Okay, commencement of time. The beginning is the beginning of the fall. God, this God here is Elohim. This God here is used of the Supreme Creator. It is not the Supreme Creator. It is used of a Supreme Creator. So in the beginning, this is your God, Jesus. In the beginning, Elohim, God, Jesus, plural of Eloah, gods in the ordinary sense, but used of the Supreme Creator, created the heaven and the earth. Heaven is space, because you can't have matter unless you have some space to place that matter. So the beginning is time, space, and matter all coming into existence at the single thought, given permission. This God Revelations chapter 22:13 Bible Hub. Revelations chapter 22:15 Bible Hub. I think it's the wrong one. Hold on. So you got to learn how to read the Bible here. Revelations 13:15 is telling us that a beast here, the second beast, was permitted to give breath to the image of the first beast. So you have two beasts here. Okay? A second beast and a first beast. And when is the first time that beast is used in the Bible, folks? Right here. Genesis chapter 1, verse 25, Bible Hub. Right there, folks. God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds. This is the evil. This one here is right here. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 13, Bible Hub. Ecclesiastes chapter 13, verse 7, Bible Hub. Right here, consider the works of God, who can straighten what he's made bent. So this creation here, these beasts here were created crooked. It says so right here, King James, consider the work of God, for who can make straight, which he has made crooked. You understand that the Supreme Spirit allowed something here, Revelations, the second beast was permitted. Something was given power. Remember? Well, who was given power? Satan was given power for a time. Satan is the second beast that was permitted to give breath to the image of the first beast. The first beast is that created in Genesis 1:25. The second beast is those that are created male and female, that he created them in Genesis 1:26 and 27. Okay. When he takes the throne of his kingdom, he is to write for himself on a scroll a copy of this law. Take from that of the Levitical priest. It is to be with him, and he is to read it all the days of his life, so that he may learn and revere the Lord his God, and follow carefully all the words of his laws in these decrees, and not consider himself better than his fellow Israelites, and turn from the law to the right or to the left, or you'll get popped in your mouth. Then he and his descendants will reign a long time over his kingdom in Israel. Okay, that there is Deuteronomy chapter 17. I hope that this helps you. All praise and glory goes to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the living God, folks. Remember, there's a God here. I'm the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob. I am not the God of the dead. He's not the God of the dead. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is not the God of the dead, but of the living. So I'm telling you, duality exists. The Supreme Spirit allowed something to create a host system, the Gentile nations. The nations are where you're getting your evolution, because they are set up on they've been here for millions of years. The Gentile race has been here for millions of years, where God's chosen children supposedly came later, only about 6,000 or 7,000 years ago. Okay, so you have definitely something that was allowed to permit itself to be created in an image of God. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So God created man in his image, and in the image of God he created him. One man. God created him, one man, a male and a female. He created them. God created one man, a male and female. This is a transgender energy, and this is why you have transgenders in the White House. You have Joe Biden patting people on the back and saying, God bless you for your transition and all that bullshit. It's all a load of shit. So you got to understand that this world here is the world of the enemy. Remember, Jesus says that I'm not from this world, I'm from the world after. So Jesus comes from another place, a place of pure love, of pure light, perfectness. Not one blade of grass dies, man. No lion is tearing the throat out of a lamb, man. There's no gazelles that are getting its throat tore out. You understand? This place of existence that we live in, this is death. And in order for you to be born into life, you must go through death. And the way that you achieve and reach life is by submitting to the supreme spirit of truth, the living God, and asking for his spirit to be upon you so you can walk upright and righteous in all his ways. I hope this helps you. All praise and glory to the mighty Most High. This is White Raptor News Ministries.